first, I'm going to do that. So let's talk about unraveling, disconnecting, unhooking our actions from the habits. Excuse me, I like to record verbally as well. Let's talk about unraveling. For example, earlier today I did a video, a welcome video, because that's what I had written on my agenda. Because at the time I first thought of doing this retreat, it immediately went to, oh my goodness, I have to do this retreat for me and therefore for everyone, and I shall guide it, and I shall create it like it is a retreat, and I shall close the window so I don't have to hear the cars, and I shall do all these things, and we'll get together and we'll meditate together. This retreat is for me. And the reason I am videoing it, is recording it, is because that helps me get the thoughts out into the world. And I have been saying accountability, but there is no accountability. I'm the only one I'm accountable for, or to, or with. But I like doing presentations. I like feeling like I'm talking to somebody when I'm doing these things, like I am sharing it with someone. And I am sharing it with someone, be it the universe, Mother Earth, the elements, the cats that are in the room, or someone who runs across this and decides to listen and see how they feel about it. But this is not for that purpose. This is not to create a retreat. This is not to become a self-improvement spiritual life coach guru. This is for me. This is because it's how it works best for me. So I'm going to say you, and I'm going to talk to you, and I'm going to look at the camera. And I'm going to know that there is some connection. There's somebody, something, some being, even if it's just myself, that is receiving the information or vibing with the information or helping me move to the next level, because that is what connection is. That's what love is. It is bringing out the best in all of us. And part of my unraveling is to remove the necessity, belief, desire, expectation that I am judging myself, critiquing myself based on someone else's reception. It is all about how I'm feeling. It is all about what my next step is based on the habits I've created, based on my perception of the world. So I deleted the welcome video because it was not really relevant. It was not the right mind space, and I knew that after I was finished doing it. I was presenting, and now I'm just talking. Now I am just talking. So, my unraveling retreat has begun. I am going to focus on disconnecting from those thoughts that are in my head or in my heart that I think are the expectations, whether it is the expectation that I do something big or the expectation that I will suddenly speak beautifully with the universe flowing through me as I channel all the answers, which, could still happen. But it's not an expectation, it's an allowance. I can release the expectation that this is going to be a da 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 da. It's not. It's going to flow. I have a broad outline of what I want to do. Want to create a space that feels welcoming and sacred, so that it's just my energy. I want to take the time to do the feeling meditation that I have created for myself, and I've been doing every morning mostly. So I want to take the time to really settle into that. I want to reflect on how I really want to feel and what things are stopping me. What signs pop up. I have this image in my head. When they show shooting ranges on TV, I have not actually been to one. They're going through the house and they're at the ready and something pops up and they have to decide in that split second whether to shoot it or not. I'm not a split second person. I tend to say, okay, this is what's going to happen. And I am moving and doing that thing. Even when somebody said, no, wait, we need to do something else. My brain is already engaged in that action. So maybe some of the unraveling can help unhook that as well. But the most relevant thing is I want to unhook from expectations. I have a banner that has the 7 chakras on it and a little saying and symbol for each chakra. And I can never remember which one's the sacral and which one's the solar plexus chakra. Okay, and so for the sacral chakra, it says, I love all dimensions of myself. I delight in weaving the creative tapestry that is my life. And that is something I am still working on. I have, through my happiness practice, gotten very good at, learning what I've been very good at and being able to say that out loud. I've gotten pretty good at accepting that there are different facets. I guess that is the first step. I am not always straight-laced. I am not always sarcastic. I am not always funny. I am not always serious. I am not always accountant persona or priestess persona or bookseller persona. I am not always sister persona or daughter persona. I have multiple facets. And the more I allow myself to realize that, to know that, the more I allow that to be part of my truth, the more facets come out in a way. And sometimes it's a lot to be comfortable with, because there is still the expectation that this is how I'm supposed to behave in this situation. This is how I'm supposed to behave in this situation. And regardless of the myriad of things that are working toward inclusion and diversity in the best way those words are used, there's still a lot of habit behind. And then there's a lot of reaction to habit. And so then there's a lot of fear about the habits that I'm going to have, because they will create the reactions, even though those are my habits and I have grown up that way, and it takes a while to change. And then there are all the words that come in from everywhere, and the music and the ads and the TV shows and the books, and everybody expressing their opinion and putting their voice out there, which is awesome. But we get to not consume all that. We get to view it, we get to witness it, and we get to say, that is theirs, and it has no attachment to me. I get to unhook myself from that. I get to unravel my interest from that interest. One of the metaphors, similes, that I used in the welcome video was that things can tend to grow together like weeds, or like trees that have started growing it with each other. They reach out and then they become entwined. Plants will grow up together and then they'll reach for each other if they're extending out. And we can make associations that tend to get snarled and raveled. The example I used was, I don't like lima beans. So if I see a vehicle that has a color that I associate with lima beans, my first reaction might be, ugh, I don't like that vehicle. And that can get tangled up until all of a sudden, every green Toyota that's going down the road, I have a visceral dislike of. Nothing to do with the car. Everything to do with lima beans that I last ate 20 years ago, maybe 30. So unraveling those associations, it can be something as silly and simple as that. They don't all need to be big. They don't all need to be dramatic. They don't all need to be important in that way that we think, that we title things that are out there. This retreat, this practice is important to me. It is my truth. It is my path. It is my place, my sacred space for the next couple days. Yes, there are rules that have been set up for how things are interacting, and I have done all my out-of-home events so that I can just stay here. And it only matters how it feels to me. So, unraveling from expectations is going to be the theme, probably the main one. There are other things to unravel from. They will come up. Every time I say, this is it, I'm like, oh no, I just fixed that. I just solved that. We're good. Let's move on. How does one unravel? The thing that works for me is visualization. In visualization, again, an important word choice. Visualization to me has always been something out there on the screen, which is probably why, for me, I consume so much stuff through my brain because growing up, it was visualize, see what you want out on the screen. And so there was a lot of projecting out, which had nothing to do with how things felt in here. So in visualizing, I forgot the reason I brought it up. Okay. Regardless, it's what I will be doing. Okay, so the retreat. Oh, how to unravel. There we are. I visualize it as a couple of things. One is like seeing something hooked, like over a rod or a tree limb. I associate well with trees. I am a literal tree hugger. As no better feeling. Well, okay, there's some better feelings. Hugging people is pretty decent as if they're good huggers back. But so feeling something hook over the limb, that is one, just unhook it. One thing I visualize is removing the hook. But the thing that it started was untying. Seeing it not hooks over, but ties, tying around like, strings, like people talk about cutting the cord. And I know that a lot of the things that I am mentally connected to, a lot of the associations I have, they're not cord thick. They're not entrenched. They're simply well tied. And it's as easy as pulling the bow, the end of the rope. It unties, it falls away, and then the rope is gone. And whatever its association is, that Toyota can just keep driving down the road and take that association with it. It is no longer attached to lima beans, and I might actually like the next Toyota that I see. This Toyota is the first one that came into my brain because there's a lot of them. So, and I actually have nothing against them. They're not Chevrolet, but sorry. Okay, back on track. So untying things, just feelings like I need to do this or I need to do that. When that comes up, I just visualize it untying. Feeling like something is, well, they'll be happier if I do this, or I think this is their expectation, just untying that, labeling it expectation, labeling it someone else's, and untying it. It is not mine. Because other people's expectations are their expectations. And if they need something or want something, then they can express it. It is not my job to assume or interpret or read their minds, even. It is not my job. It is my job to be the best me I can be. So that is my unraveling visuals in visualies. And yes, there was the thought of, well, what if I unravel something important? What if in my joyous running through my inner wood, I pull all these strings and then all of a sudden a connection is lost that I really wanted? I believe that the connection will stay if it's something that is really beneficial for me, something that I really do want. It won't be a random string, or it will come and gently reattach when I'm through unraveling, cleaning up all the rope and the yarn and the hooks and sweeping them out of my space, and it will come back. I believe that my connections with people um, are a different kind of connection, could be more of the cord that some people cut. Um, but I believe that no connection can be made without my permission. It's taken me a while. But I do believe that consent is necessary for connections to be made. And we may have agreed in the past. That's the downside. There is, I think people use the word contracts. You signed a contract with them, you can rip it up, or I can. And then there's the going back and forgiving self and saying this contract is no longer necessary and running it through the shredder and then taking the pieces in the shredder and taking it down to the fire and letting it just all burn up because, yeah, we're thorough like that. That is not what this retreat is about. This is about unraveling. So I think I have meandered enough to get it in my head what my focus is. Mostly expectations, but any other bits that will come up, it is about unraveling. My next actions are going to be to cleanse the space first, and then sit down and do my feeling meditation and see how I'm really feeling. It's been an interesting summer so far. And when I decided to do this retreat, I knew that I was going to need time off from a busy time at work and then some vacation. I knew I was going to want some alone time. So things just kept right on going. So it'll be good to sit and see how I really feel and what things I've been presenting, what roles I've been playing, even with myself, and see how I really feel. So I'll be doing that, doing the feelings, and then we'll go from there. So I may see you some more tonight. There may be more reflection on unraveling, but I haven't decided how I'm going to do the meditations. If I'm going to record them and then listen to them back, or if I'm just going to try and self-guide myself. We'll see. We'll see what feels right. And this feels much better. So, beautiful day. And I hope we continue to have a lovely one.